What's up, YouTube? It's Kenny again. Oh, I'm rolling across 88 out of Illinois into Iowa to make this delivery this afternoon. And I wanted to make a video, talk about some things, update you guys. Before we get started, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a truck driver driving across the country, researching and trading stocks. And I will not be held responsible for any moves you make in the stock market. Not ever. I am not your mama. All right? Do your own research. Do not follow me, especially on these risky trades I'm doing right now. So, hit that subscribe button as well. Like the video. Leave me a comment down below. I'm still in this swing trade, so you can still tell me, am I going to win or am I going to lose? Comment down below. And guys, link to the Patreon is in the description. We haven't had nobody join in a while, so consider supporting the channel if you're enjoying the content, all right? A couple bucks a month, man. Throw it out there. It all goes into the M1 Finance account, and I could use your support. Join the fucking Patreon. So speaking of the Patreon, I did take a disbursement from the Patreon. It came in, I put it into the M1 Finance, and I made a purchase yesterday. The Patreon from both channels paid me out, excuse me, $88, all right? And that went into the M1 Finance yesterday and bought at 3 p.m., okay? Currently, the M1 Finance is down because everything's down, you know, but yesterday was a pretty low spot to buy in at 3 p.m., so we'll see what happens with that. Now, I have looked, I've done the math, and I've looked to see, well, we're going to have a message come through. I've done the math, and I've looked to see how much I made across both channels off of everything. I took money out of the t-shirts, and the total from both channels and the t-shirts from my other channel was $588 for the month. So I put $88 in there, so we'll have another $500 coming in on or around the 21st, and we'll be putting that into the M1 Finance account. Okay, I'll do an update on that when we get to that point. So SOXL, the swing trade, all right, still in it, have not sold. As of the market close yesterday, I was down about $107. And in the pre-market, it's come back up. Right now, we're sitting at $29.58. So that's a $38 profit right now we're sitting on. And the market in general is looking like we might have a little bit of a green day today. If we do, and if we get a small jump in these semiconductor stocks that are in this fund, could be the day to take profits today. We'll find out. So just in general, you know, the market, I'm seeing a lot of different people saying different things. You know, some people still think that inflation is going to be more permanent, and that's why we're seeing all the shit that's going on in the stock market. And then others think that it's going to be transitory or temporary. Personally, I am on the side of thinking that it's going to be temporary. If you look historically at inflation, you know, we've been trying to cause inflation for years and years and have not been able to cause it. And so the trend and, you know, the reality and history shows us that inflation is not easy to create. It's very, very difficult to create inflation, okay? The government wants inflation because inflation means that their debt is worth less, which means that, you know, basically it's a debt reducer because, well, it just is, okay? I'm not going to go deeply into that. You know, assets become more expensive, debt becomes less expensive, okay? Because the money is worth more. I mean, because the money is worth less, the debt is worth less. Assets become worth more. See, so traditionally, inflation really should cause our assets or our stocks and stuff to go up eventually. I have to
Attention.
get through this little message here.
An important message follows. You have received a pre-planned pickup on Thursday, May 13th at 9 a.m. in Mason City, Iowa, going to Aurora, Illinois. Please send a confirmation of acceptance after you have read the
They
pre-planned
keep sending me
information.
these over and over, even though I've seen them already.
071 FMSA trailer condition requirements. New message 069 pre-planned info.
I'm like, I'll accept it when I get to it, okay? But anyway, so inflation, like, over time will make these assets that we own in the stock market worth more. Like, so that's why I don't understand why all the fears about inflation, because really, you know, inflation is kind of good for stocks because they're assets, and the whole point of inflation is that when the money is worth less, the assets are worth more, you know. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But, you know, something that Kevin talked about is that he's been looking at the companies and like in their financial reports and stuff like that, and instead of listening to the talking heads, he's been looking to see what the companies themselves are saying about the inflation. And most of what he's finding, and he read, I believe it was Ford's that he read, and they talked about how they believe it to be temporary, that there are temporary spikes. I mean, we've got, you know, we are seeing inflation right now. There's no question about that. But the thing is that it's unnatural. It's not caused by natural forces, the normal forces. It's caused because people are not at work, so the supply is short, and therefore it causes inflation. But when people come back to work and things get to start running more normally, it should normalize and come back down. That's what the Fed thinks, and I'm on that side. I think that's going to happen. It's going to happen that way. Okay, so. And that seems to be what the companies themselves are thinking, all right? But, so let's talk about SOXL and this swing trade a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about why I chose it, okay? So, being a triple leveraged fund, okay, it moves 3 times its holdings, okay? And semiconductors, like you guys think, a lot of you guys think I'm going to lose on it. And, you know, I may. It could fall. I could lose money on it. But in my mind, okay, semiconductors are not the same thing as all of these growth stocks we have been watching fall and fall and fall, okay? They have not been falling and falling and falling. Although recently they have taken a dive, okay? And so because they have taken this dive, this SOXL stock has gone way down 3 times as much, okay? I have been watching this stock for a while now, and I've seen it up in the $38 to $40 range, and now it's trading around, you know, 28, 29. I mean, if I was to hold on to this stock and wait for it to come back up, it could potentially make me $1,000. Now, I'm not trying to stay in it that long, but I'm just saying that I see a huge upside to it, and I'm willing to throw that risk out there to try to offset some of these losses. And the truth is, we get a pretty good green day today, and it comes back up, I could potentially completely offset my losses on Tesla. I doubt I will, but I may get pretty close. And so if that happens, I will know that it was a good idea. I mean, I already made 170, and you know, all I've got to make is about another 460, 480, something like that, with this money to offset completely those losses in Tesla. And really, if you average into that how much Tesla has dropped since then, I feel like it was the right decision. And so, you know, the plan is to try to offset as much of these paper losses as possible. First, we got to get past Tesla, which was an actual loss. But then if I can get past that, I want to try to offset as much of these paper losses as possible. Because then what that's going to produce is, when these stocks come back, all of these little small gains that I'm making in the meantime are going to just push the account even higher, the total account. The more of these losses I can offset without selling the actual stocks, you know, so they're paper losses, the more of these I can offset, the more of these little small stair-step gains I can make throughout this time period, the more my total account will go up when when things come back. That's the idea, okay? That's the premise that I'm working off of. And, you know, if I make a good gain on this stock, it's just going to be good for my total account. I mean, if I make a good gain on this stock, it will mean that basically I've got more than half of my money to swing trade with, because the others are down so low. And that's what I'm hoping for. The market's just opened and it's up to 29.60, 29.70. So we're going to see what happens. I'm looking for a spot to sell it today. Hopefully it'll get up some 29.80. And that's what it is, guys. So leave me a comment down below, win or lose. You want to change your bet? Subscribe, like the video, and join the fucking Patreon, guys. People hadn't been joining. You guys don't love me no more or what? Join the fucking Patreon. Thanks for watching.